So Gemini, February of 2023 is going to be one of the best months of the year for you. You're going to love how Mars moving forward in the sign of you finally gets action-packed momentum, directionality, and decisive energy as you choose lucky, prosperous, and heavenly and divinely guided ways to get great gains from your career, to enhance your reputation, and to get into a sense of divine flow. It's so good. So if you're new to my channel, my name is Lori Lothian. I'm a whole sign house Hellenistic astrologer using the Western tropical zodiac. I also love asteroids and fixed stars. Please subscribe, hit the bell for notifications if you haven't done that already, and let's get going and talk all about Gemini, Sun, Moon, but always most accurate rising sign. Free tutorial in my description box, how to cast your chart in whole sign houses. Just do it, but also you'll be able to find your rising sign if you don't already know it. And you know, I teach classes, Sky Reader, Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life, waitlist. We want to get on it. We start in March and it sells out every time. I cap the number of students so I can pay attention to you and help you learn to time your best life. So if anything like that interests you, or my Cosmic Moonshine newsletter where you get 20% discount code off, or my Patreon community, because you can get all this content ahead of curve before anyone else, ad-free for $5 a month. I'm recording on the 21st of January. My Patreon people will get this like today. I don't know when you're getting it, probably the 24th or 25th. All right, let's roll. So Gemini, you know, here's the good news. Mars has been in the house of you, in the sign of Gemini, since August 20th and is leaving on March the 25th. It's been kind of an interesting journey because it's a once in a lifetime 7-month stay of a planet that's known to be about motivation and willpower, action and direction, momentum, severing and ending and cutting in the sign of you, including the sign of speech and words, causing you to be very Martian. And you're not normally a Martian being. You're a mutable being. You're kind of flowing and easy and gracious and sociable and changeable. And now all of a sudden you've got Mars under your belt. You're acting like, you know, they're acting like a soldier. But he was retrograding from August 30th. You're finding your inner warrior. I mean, August 30th, since October 30th, you're finding your inner warrior and you're trying to look inward at what, you know, things you want to even bother, pick your battles, you know, and who you really are in the face of what inner determination to take bold and decisive action is important to you. And you've been thinking about these questions since October 30th, and now Mars is moving forward. And he started moving forward in January, middle of January, and he's getting up a much better speed in the month of February, and you are getting up to speed too. And so, for example, he will move through the 10th to the 19th degree of the sign of Gemini, meaning anybody from around 7 Gemini to around 22 Gemini, Sun, Moon, but most often accurate rising sign, really get to feel this momentum, right? Well, in March, it'll be the people who are in the later degrees, like the last 10 degrees of Gemini, who feel the more momentum. So know your rising sign degree or Sun and Moon degree as well. Now, the thing about this energy is that Jupiter is moving through Aries, and that's a support structure for Mars in the house of you. Jupiter moved into Aries finally in December 20th and will leave on the middle of May. And so during the time that Mars is in the house of you until March 25th, and Jupiter is in your 11th house of good spirit, which is like cosmic blessings and rewards and karmic rewards and great gains from your career and up levels of your reputation and good things happening with pennies from heaven and benefits from people in places of power, kings of Mount Olympus want to help you. That Jupiter is looking down at Mars and saying, I can help. So all these ideas about what directions you want to go in now, Jupiter's bringing luck and blessings. You know, my Sun has progressed into Gemini. I can relate. Sun can be about career. Moon can be about home and nest. Sun can be about father figures. Moon can be about mother figures. So my progressed Gemini Sun can relate to this story. And you're going to find that with this energy going all through the month of February, where Jupiter is applying in a sextile or flow energy to Mars as he's getting his momentum on in the house of you, you're going to find things are working really easily for positive directional action, decisions, momentum, drive, and willpower. Okay. Now, if you were debating things like quit cutting out of a relationship because you're looking across with the Martian sword at your 7th house of long-term committed love and committed relationships, or certain clients that you don't like or customers, this can be a huge time of making those severing, snipping cuts that you no longer say to yourself, I don't want to be in this situation or situationship or with this person or with these clients. So things are now shifting. You have the power to make those decisions and take the necessary steps to cut away from those people and persons and things. if you were thinking you wanted to relocate your place, your home, or move, that may be happening later on in the year when we have some action in the fall with Mars in your fourth house. But you may be looking more squarely at some decisions you might want to make without actually taking action around a nest or a home as a Gemini rising, but waiting until the fall until you make those action steps to take, change your home or change your location. That's because Mercury, marketing, buying, and selling, will be in your fourth house of home in the Virgo zone in the fall. Now, and for a long time, 2 months. Some of you Gemini people rising especially will be doing marketing, selling, or changing or negotiating around property and real estate probably in the fall. One of the things I have to say is you're ruled by Mercury, which is why I defaulted to talking about him. And the month of February is basically, it's a show that's run by Mercury and Venus. Those are the two planets making all of the aspects that are of any note in the month of February. So we're going to start with Mercury for you just because he's so important to you, and talk about what this dude, the messenger of the gods, is up to. The planet that rules the Geminis of the world is Mercury. And Mercury is going to be moving on February 11th into the sign of Aquarius. It's an air sign. He likes it there. He's all about ideas anyway. Air is about ideas. Aquarius is your ninth house of God, wisdom, knowledge, religion, foreign lands, court and legal matters, visas, book publishing. Now, in modern astrology, they say that he exalts Aquarius. Some people do, and he doesn't in ancient astrology. He exalts and is at home in Virgo. But nonetheless, you could make a case that he's quite powerful here, and he's going to be moving into the ninth house of God. Now, you could receive news and information about land, property, travel, visas, foreign shores. Land and foreign shores, property, travel, foreign shores related, courts and legal matters. Mercury can deliver all the news that's fit to print. If you're into the book publishing, you get an agent, a publisher, things like that can really unfold right before your very eyes, starting February 11th to March the 2nd. And as he's moving through the ninth house, you're definitely looking at news and information that comes from the layer of reality known as a between the worlds or beyond the worlds house, meta cosmos. It's also a Lakshmi house, a money house. So you could get spiritual downloads and insights, epiphanies. You could get some kind of wealth and luck structures opening up for you, news about ways that money could come. I'll give you an example for my progressed Gemini sun, if I may say so. I want to start a mentorship program, a teaching, and that's ninth house stuff compared to like third house, like weekend workshops. And I want to get a cohort for 9 months, I think, maybe. Started. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I'm planning it now, and it's going to be my Deep Code Astrology mentorship program. And if I do that, that's me moving forward February 11th to March 2nd, probably in the planning stages. And so as an example, right? Some of you get your visa, you get your academic credentials, you get accepted at the school you want to go to, because the ninth house is academia, like universities and colleges and higher education. So good news on that front for a lot of Gemini rising, sun and moon secondarily. And then the thing that's happening at the same time is that Venus, because Venus and Mercury are fast. They move around the sun really quickly, and they're also really close to each other and the sun at all times. So it's kind of like the micro details of February. Good news, things are moving forward, all planets are in direct motion, but then we've got these small details of the Venus-Mercury narrative. Now, Venus is going to be moving into what we call her sign of exaltation on January 26th, and will be there until February 20th. That's your career space, Geminis. That's like the place where you are seen in the world as a success story, and your ambition and goals are externally realized. So, purpose and career in the world, reputation in the world, how people see you in the world. These are 10th house narratives. Weddings belong to the 10th house, especially if your midheaven is there. Venus is exalting your 10th house and bringing you a great deal of success in career. And you could get lots of popularity, acclaim. Exaltation is kind of like starlet energy in the top of your sky. So for some of you, you could have some kind of moment of great appreciation at work where you get an up level, promotion, advancement. You could also end up being very popular or having some kind of little mini micro celebrity moments going on in your world during this transit. And women in workplace and career space are going to be very favorable towards you during that transit of February 11th to March the 2nd. Now, did I say February 11th to March 2nd? January 26th to February 20th. January 26th to February 20th. I think I said it right the first time. And, so Venus is moving through her exaltation in your 10th house, right? Which is so fucking, excuse my language, wonderful for you. So don't hesitate to try to be that success story in your career, she starts to make some contacts with other planets. And this is important because one of them is Mars, and that's the cosmic lover's story. So Mars is going to be talking with Venus, and Venus is talking with Mars in what's called a square. Now, that can be about action and sexual tension and friction, but also chemistry. And there may be something to do with a romance that could come through the reputation and career part of your sky and be connecting to Mars in the house of you. This could also mean that you are quite excited and engaging in some kind of romance. Now, it could be an office romance, but it could be a romance with somebody involved in similar career endeavors or something like that. It could also be about exciting, bold, declarative decisions and actions regarding career success, career fame, career rewards, and money. So it's an exciting time, but it's also a bit of friction. Venus squaring Mars, there's not a lot to say there that could be so bad because of her exaltation. If she wasn't exalted, I'd be more worried. She's applying toward him, so she's bonifying him. End of this story looks something like maybe during this square, which is around between the 2nd and the 6th of the month of February early on, it looks to me like success. But with Mars in your first house, you have to do the action and decision steps needed to capitalize on that career success in some way. And so I like it. I like it more than I don't like it, is what I'm sort of saying. And, and she's kind of like puttering through your 10th house, moving through your 10th house, making things happen. But on the 20th of February, this benefic goddess moves into the 11th house, which is a karmic rewards house, and brings great gains from your career. Even though she's in Aries, which is a debility for her, she's still in a very positive house. So you may expect some kind of flow of financial goodness or reputation rewards coming that are quite substantial as she moves through your 11th house and picks up some kind of narrative there where she's just basically wanting in the last 10 days of the month to make sure you know that she loves you and she wants you to succeed in the career and reputation space. Now she's joining Jupiter, who is already there. She won't catch up to him until, if she does, it will be in March. I have to double check that. But he's co-present with her, because she will catch up to him. He's sitting in Santa Claus is sitting in the sky in a place where Santa Claus wants to be, like a fairy godfather house, And so he wants to dispense Jupiter ever since December 20th. Blessings for you in your great gains from your career, pennies from heaven, windfalls, favors from people in high places. My progressed sun is in Gemini. One of my mentors, Morgana Ray, asked me to participate in her book promotion. That's me helping her, but then I'm exposed to her mail list, so it's a favor from a friend in a high place. Stay tuned for my 2023 video about how you make money based on your sign in 2023 to succeed, as I interview my mentor Morgana in that particular video. I feel like what you're getting with Venus as she's in your 11th house in the last 10 days of February is women in particular who want to support you as an ally or benefactor, okay? And especially with Jupiter, women in power, women at the top of hierarchical structures, women in command structures are going to suddenly be leaning towards you for supporting you, cheering you on, and helping you out, Geminis. I think that with Mercury coming into let's go back it up. With Venus sextiling Uranus, there's some lucky, surprising, and exciting developments in love and finances around the 7th and the 8th of the month. It's kind of epicentered around that time. You'll feel it maybe a couple of days before and after. Now, Venus, again, she's exalted in Pisces at the time, because I'm going back in time right now, right? So she's in her high spot. She's very powerful, and she looks down at Uranus in your 12th house. This can be sudden financial gain from foreign lands and shores, PayPal and Stripe payment processors, if that's how you make your money, from backroom deals and negotiations that work on your favor in the career space. It's exciting, it's exhilarating, and it's positive around the money story in particular, although it could lead to a love story from somebody in a foreign land picking up steam as well around the 7th and 8th of the month. Just as that's happening, just in a little bit before that, like the 6th to 7th, Venus is sextiling Neptune. And Neptune is the dreamy imagination and, Mercury is sextiling Neptune. It's my notes are so like hard to read. Mercury is sextiling Neptune, and that's a dreamy imagination god of things to do with your highest visions and goals of fantasies. Now, Neptune's been in your 10th house of career, and that's been like, how can you have these realistic visions and goals? And Saturn's going to make your dreams a reality in your career starting in March, add 2.5 years. So there's that. But this little touch point here, with Mercury, the messenger of the gods, moving into that sextile with the Neptune himself, this is something to do with money. Okay, this is news or information about money because Mercury is in the tail end of your 8th house of royalty income, mortgages, investment income, and it's connected to money and career. So, and Venus is exalting and that stuff. So I don't know, stock options with the company you work for, some kind of chunky money being available to you, liberated from some kind of storage vault or something like that. Even a tax rebate could happen with this. So there's some money coming back from your career into your life, or from career and storage money, loans, mortgages, credit cards, credit card debts, etc. But who knows? It looks good. It's positive. It's around the 6th, 7th, ties in with Venus sextiling Neptune. Surprising, lucky money stuff going on here. Venus sextiling Uranus, I should say. Mercury will co-join with Pluto in a conjunction around the 10th of the month at 29 Capricorn. It's a very intense degree. Last time this is going to happen ever again in your lifetime. And so it's important. It's been happening on the yearly ever since 2009. I get the vibe here as something really to do with a real powerful financial opportunity moment coming through that 8th house. I'm combining that with that Venus in your 10th as well. It's going to be kind of exciting as well. There's a square to Apollo. I'll be doing a whole video about that. But it can be a very defining financial moment for a lot of Gemini rising, especially Sun and Moon secondarily, around the 10th of February. Venus will co-join with Neptune on Valentine's Day. This is making this one of the most romantic Valentine's days of the year. There's also a connection to Arachne, the one who weaves these beautiful tapestries that best the gods, and some healing from Hygeia in Capricorn at the same time. So the long story short in English for you who may be astrologically new, is that Venus is all about high love, exalted love, higher love, soulmate love. Bring me a higher love, this is the kind of love she's looking for only when she's in her exaltation in Pisces. She wants, divine love to show up through the mortal coil, so to speak. And so she's very picky. If you're born with this placement, you're always looking for your soulmate, not just a fling. And you'd rather be celibate and alone than just have flings. So often that happens to people born with this placement. I'm making sure I'm covering my camera. And I feel like when she's coming into that Neptune point around Valentine's Day, meeting up with Neptune, this is twin flame love, soulmate love, higher love, divine divine creativity, but it's in the reputation space. So it could be falling into a divine love story with somebody in a collegiate space or workspace or career space, or having a celebration of this divine love in the eyes of the public, whether it's a wedding or just telling everyone this is a thing, or changing your status to say with somebody, here's my person. It's kind of exciting. Neptune won't be here forever. He'll leave by 26. And so Venus can only kind of offer this kind of blessing once a year until then. It can really up-level your reputation if you use video. If you're like a videographer type or use, Reels, TikTok, YouTube, that's Neptune's wheelhouse, and Venus is celebrity. So, maybe some of you are going to have a pop in your celebrity using those means of communication from the space of career. And, at the same time at Valentine's Day, Saturn and the Sun come together as well, around 27 degrees of Aquarius. This is a lot of flow from the very tail end of your 9th house to your, house of your identity, your first house. Somebody in power, a patriarchal or authoritative figure in higher education, courts, legal matters, or faraway lands, or book publishing could be showing you or sharing some powerful support for something that you're making action and decisions about in your life. So it's definitely a positive time around that. Sometimes there's a death energy with Saturn Sun, like death of a leader. So, but that's not your story necessarily, but there could be a patriarchal figure that's exiting stage left. Usually, nothing surprising with Saturn Sun. but it still blesses you in some way. Maybe there's a bequeathment with this, because we do have a lot of power with Mercury Pluto. So some of you may be getting some money from the death of a patriarchal figure. And when is that? Did I say that's all happening around Valentine's Day? And now Mercury will sextile your Lord Jupiter in your Aries zone when he's trying to bring you fairy godfather blessings. That Mercury sextile is from Aquarius. Financial windfalls through courts, legal matters, travel, higher education, father and patriarchal figures. Again, 16th, 17th, and 18th of the month, there's Lakshmi wealth luck coming from the 9th to the blessings of pennies from heaven in your 11th. And then basically Venus sextiles Pluto around the same time, just a day or two after, around the 19th, 20th. Venus is a money goddess, and she's going to sextile Pluto, love that word, around the 19th. And she's just coming at the tail end of her exaltation in your career house. So the 29th degree is called anaretic, and it's very intense and powerful. And it's about completion. And as Venus is completing her 10th house love up, she looks back over her shoulder at Pluto in your chunky money wealth house. I think I should have called this video wealth blessings for Gemini's sun, moon, and rising, because that's what it's looking like. How is that wealth blessing showing up? In modern astrology, Venus is in the house of the father. So again, what kind of patriarchal leader figure is blessing you financially around that time frame, just before the 20th of February? You know, having Mercury in your 8th house for 2 months, December the 6th through to February 11th, is an insane amount of time. It's an elemental earth year. I'm going to put a new video up by Gary Caton and me soon to share how that works. But, you know, Mercury was really working it for 2 months to help you up level financially. So some of this has also been preceded by you know, events that were ongoing for 2 months before February. Lastly, Mercury and Uranus are going to be frictioning around the 21st to the 23rd of February in the Aquarius part and the Taurus part of the sky. Now, this is an area that's been frictioning for a lot of people for a lot of time already, so this is not a new area of intensity. We won't go into why, but for you, the tension or the friction is between the energy of the messenger of the gods, all right, in the sign of Aquarius, legal, court affairs, foreign lands, travel, visas, book publishing, father figures, religion and faith, teaching and long-term education and higher education, squaring your the Taurus energy, your 12th house. It's very subtle. For some of you, it can be disruption in international travel plans, some bad news about a father figure that connects to bequeathments and inheritances, some disruptive energies around higher education or plans for book publishing, some backroom negotiations that have shocking outcomes in those areas. Things like that are happening. That's what's going on the 21st to the 23rd. And lastly, Mercury will trine Mars at that same time, which is a silver lining because Mars is in the house of you and Mercury's in that disruptive 9th house we talked about. So even though there's this disruption, something kind of blindsiding you regarding those 9th house themes, I'm just waiting for the United States to say, we're never going to let the unvaccinated cross through our country. And then I have to give my 200,000 Alaska Air Miles to somebody else. But anyway, because I have my sun in Gemini right now, progressed. But anyway, but the end of the story, there's a lot of flow between the 9th house and your choices and decisions you make. So it finishes off strong. So I think it works out in the end, but there is this bubble of unexpected disruption and unexpected information or news from the 9th house around the 21st to 23rd of the month. And I think that's everything I need to say. I hope you guys have a great month. March is going to be a freaking humdinger of a month. That video is going to be so intense. I might have to do half an hour for each sign. It's going to be a game changer. But right now you're in the sort of still waters before the bigger energies of March. Enjoy the month of February. It's looking like positive for you guys. Okay, Gemini, have a great day. Check out my description box. You might want to learn about what I'm up to. Might want to have a reading with me. Might want to take a course with me. It's all underneath the video called the description box. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.